In this video, I'm going to show you the exact strategy we use to run Facebook ads for clothing brands doing 100K a month. I'm going to give you the full picture, the creator strategy, the ad angles, and even diving into the ads manager to show you the full campaign setup structure that we use. Most clothing brands running meta ads are doing one of two things wrong. They're either running one or two creatives and wondering why performance starts to drop after a couple days, or they're just throwing up random ads with no real strategy. So I'm gonna give you the full blueprint and show you how to completely change how you think about ads so you can leave here today with a profitable system. And no one out here is really teaching this in the clothing brand space. So this is gonna be one of the best clothing brand ad videos that you see. So make sure you take a lot of notes and save this for later. Let's get into it. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Brianna, a meta ad strategist. I run Get Conversions, where we manage ads specifically for clothing and apparel brands. So everything that I show you on this channel comes from real brands and real results. And I've seen so many clothing brand ads fail, and the biggest reason why is because you're treating your meta ads like it's still 2020. Ads used to be super easy, where you just put up a pretty photo, write some copy, set a budget, no real strategy, but it would still print money. But now in 2026, obviously things have changed. What's actually driving consistent revenue on Meta is by having creative diversity within your creative concepts and your ad angles. And most brands I see are missing this. Creative diversity is what keeps your cost per acquisition low and prevents creative fatigue. We do this by testing different creative concepts, which are different type of creatives that we'll actually get into later in this video. And then we also do this by testing different ad angles. This is going to be what makes your creative actually speak to the right person at the right time. So let's get into this value by showing you some examples. All right, so let's just talk about what is creative diversity. It's basically what keeps your cost per acquisition low and scale possible, especially for clothing brands where ad fatigue happens fast. All right, so Meta optimizes based on variation instead of just one winning ad, and different people respond to different hooks, formats, and angles. All right, so these are going to be 10 creative types that I like to rotate for clothing brand clients. There's a ton of them out there. I'm just going to go through my 10 favorite ones. So let's just go through each, and I'll also throw some examples on the screen throughout each. So the first one is lifestyle in context wear, and the goal of this is to show the product being worn and a life your audience actually lives. Shows real movement, is not posed. It just shows the actual lifestyle. All right. Number two is going to be UGC style content. So the goal of this is to build the trust and relatability. It's very authentic creator film content. It could be like mirror checks, try on hauls, different things like that. Next, we have product only, flat lay, or detailed. So the goal of this is to sell quality and craftsmanship. So it shows the texture close-ups, flat lays, raw authentic product shots. And then number four is offer text driven. So this captures high intent buyers fast. It usually has a bold headline, product shot, has some sort of sale or bundle messaging. For example, buy two, get one free, selling out fast, whatever the offer is. Number five, we have founder brand story. So this builds that emotional connection and differentiation. So you could talk about why the brand started, the mission, the behind the scenes of production. All right, number six is social proof validation. So this helps reduce hesitation, shows customer try-ons, review screenshots, tagged IG photos, how many units sold, right? So if you ever seen an ad with, we sold over 5,000, or we have like 5,000 happy customers or 100,000 happy customers, that just creates that social proof and validation. So number seven is comparison us versus them. So this positions you against your competitors. It shows price versus value. You can compare cheap versus premium, feature breakdown, but basically why your product is better than your competitor. Number eight is educational styling content. So this gives value and authority. You can do styling tips, capsule wardrobe breakdown, seasonal outfit guides, things like that. So it'd be like 3 ways to style this, one piece, multiple fits. This saves you money. And then number nine is trend native platform type of content. So this basically just blends in. It doesn't look like an ad. So if you ever seen those response type of ads that has the TikTok comment and then the video is basically responding to that comment, that's very native to TikTok. So when people are scrolling, it blends in and they're more likely to actually look at that video and watch it. Number 10 is problem aware paying creatives. So this basically calls out a frustration. You present your brand as a solution. So True Classics is a great example of this. They always talk about how they have premium clothes without the premium price. So a big frustration for their audience is people who want to have, premium fit with their clothing, but they don't want to pay $100 for a t-shirt, right? So basically they talk about how they solve that problem there. All right, so let's get into ad angles. So these are different type of creative concepts. So now let's get into ad angles. And we talked about angles being what makes your creative actually speak to the right person at the right moment. So a great example of this is Comfort, right? So let's break this down. So they're a comfort first clothing brand, all right? And they do this well with different angles. So one angle could be a travel angle. So this could be specifically to people who like to travel. So the angle could be, if you travel constantly, this is the perfect comfy set for long flights, layovers, all day wear, right? So the customer is usually someone who travels frequently, who wants to look put together, but still feel comfortable. So every creator that you build, this angle would basically speak to that specific person, all right? And then they can have another angle where it's their mental health angle. All right, this is what their whole brand is built around. This is their brand identity. They built their entire business around the idea that what you wear affects how you feel. All right, so this angle speaks directly to people who deal with anxiety, depression, stress, and basically just positions the product as something that genuinely supports the mental well-being. So those are going to be two different angles, right? So the cool thing about this is you can take one angle and use these different concepts up here, right? So travel angle, for example, and I created this matrix basically. So the travel angle, right? Perfect comfy set for travelers. And then you could use these different concepts for that angle. Lifestyle one, right? You could just show a person going through the airport in their comfort set, confident and relaxed. You can do one that's UGC, where it's just a creator talking directly to the camera on a 14-hour flight, just talking about how this set is super comfortable for their long flight. You can also use a flat lay static image where it shows the comfort set on the ground with maybe a passport, and maybe you have a headline that says, pack this, thank me later. So this is how you can use different concepts within different angles. All right, so the angle is going to be the specific audience that you're talking to, and the concept is going to be the different formats of creatives, right? Because different people respond to the different angles based on who you're identifying. So let's go through the mental health angle. This is all built around emotional well-being. So you can have a flat lay image where it's the set with the journal, candle next to it, all these type of calming items, and then basically have a title that says dress for how you want to feel. Or I didn't expect a clothing brand to help with my anxiety. And this would be a UGC type of ad where it's a creator talking about how the brand actually makes them feel and get vulnerable and real so it can build that emotional connection. So I'm not going to go through all these. You can screenshot this if you need, but this is basically the ad angles and creative concepts. Now let's quickly go through just the overview of the campaign structure, and then I will take you through the ads manager and show you exactly how I set this up. So top level, obviously we have a campaign, but the campaign I like to use is a CBO, which means the budget is at the campaign level. All right. And the reason I do this is because I'm going to have multiple ad sets under that, and I want Facebook to choose the best performing ad set and the best performing ads under those ad sets to spend the most budget on. So we got our CBO campaign. We'll have multiple ad sets, and it's going to be one ad set per angle. All right, so one ad set for the travel angle, one ad set for the mental health angle. If there's another angle, let's say confidence, we'll have another ad set for the confidence angle. Everything is broad targeting, not doing any interest targeting. We're just going to let the creative do all the targeting for us. Now, under each ad set, we're going to have multiple creative concepts, right? Multiple creative formats that we just showed. So we'll have our lifestyle video, but obviously all of these are specific to this angle. All right, we're not going to have a mental health angle right here and then a travel angle right here. We're going to group them. So we have all of our travel angle ads right here, and we have all of our mental health ones here. And so the most important thing about this is going to be the weekly iteration. So it's not just throwing up these ads and just running this for months on end. You have to continuously iterate every single week. So we are adding new ad sets, new angles, or we can reuse the same angle but just different concepts, and we're just adding those every single week. All right, and the great thing about having this under a CBO is You're not going to ruin one of these ad sets that may have exited learning phase and went into active, right? We're just going to keep on adding new ad sets. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to show you the ads manager. We're going to set up a example campaign so you understand. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to use this kind of test ad account. Haven't done much in here, but first thing you want to do inside the ads manager is just create a new ad, right? So we're going to create a new campaign. We're going to go for sales, click continue. Then we're just going to name our campaign. So whatever we are testing, I like to put top of funnel. Let's just use Bodyworks as an example. All right. I know y'all have seen me talk about this brand a lot. It's a brand I've been able to scale past 100K months, and overall we have done over $1 million in sales. So we're going to use Bodyworks. Yeah, this is just going to be our campaign CBO, and I'd just like to have the date. So today is May 10th. There we go. All right, campaign budget. This is important, right? We don't have this at the campaign level. I'm going to set this to, let's say, $100. Do what works for you. I would say minimum $50 a day. So our daily budget is $100. Make sure the catalog ads is turned off, just fine. Just gonna hit next. All right, now we are at our ad set level. This is where we're testing different angles. So how I like to do this is just give it a number. I like to start from 101. So if you create another ad set, that'd be 102, 103, etc. All right, this is just broad. And then I like to put the country. So USA, we're testing in. Male, female, if you are testing male and female for a lot of unisex brands, this is for the most part specifically for women. And then we're gonna do 18 up, that's fine. And then I'm going to have the angle here, so let's just do confidence. This is our angle right here. All right, so we're going to select website. All right, make sure your pixel selected, and then conversion event. You want to select purchase. Obviously, I don't have it set up for here, but make sure you have your conversion API set up and everything. And then scrolling down, you can set this for midnight next day. I'll just do 11:59. It's fine. And then country here. We're gonna go down here, and we're also going to select our gender. All right, so this is for women specifically. Now, if you have a unisex brand, like I said, you don't have to do anything here. Just keep everything the same. All right, so now we're going to click next. All right, make sure you have your Facebook page, your Instagram profile set up. We are going to do create ad, manual upload, single image or video, website. You want to just have your website here. Boom. Okay, we are going to basically turn all this off. Cool, and then we're gonna set up our creative. So right now I just have image ads, but if you have videos, that's perfectly fine. And we created all these with just Hicksfield, right? So this is confidence angle. So let's just go through these. All right, and you basically just want to have your primary text here. Now, you can just use Claude, ChatGPT to create some primary text. Primary text isn't that important. Obviously, you want it to go along with what the creative is actually saying, but with what the video or image is actually saying. But yeah, just make sure you can get more in depth. I'll just put something here because I'm not really teaching you how to do primary text and headlines. I really want to just show you the structure so you can get this right. All right. So let's go through next. Go through these. Boom, boom. Then obviously if you're using static images, make sure you always turn the music off. Turn all of these Advantage Plus creative enhancements off for the most part, and just hit done. So we got this here, right? Just make sure everything else is good. Usually under here it'll show you what else is turned on. Yeah, pretty much just make sure everything here is turned off. I mean, you could keep relevant comments on, that's fine, but usually I just go in here and just turn it all off. Boom, boom. Hit save. And then yeah, just make sure website events is selected with your pixel. Make sure your pixel is active. Once again, I'm using a pixel that I've never set up for Conversions API, just use it for leads. So just keep that in mind. All right. And for the ad name as well, you do want to just keep this in sync with the ad set. So I'm just going to do 101A. And then if you have another one, you'll do 101B. So we're just going to do, right here, you want to do if it's a video or a static ad. So I'll just do static. And if it's a video for you, just put video there. And then it's going to be concept. So this is really just like a old headline type of ad. And then you're going to add your hook, which is confidence starts with what you wear. All right, cool. All right, so now we are going to duplicate this one. Turn this off. All right, so we are going to do, let's just do this one, right? Boom, boom. All right, so we got this one too. I'm gonna update this, which is your outfit shouldn't make you, and you can make this shorter. Obviously you don't have to put the whole hook. I would just put make you feel small, right? The goal, I mean, the whole purpose of this is just, if you're looking at the top level and you're looking at all the ads, you're just able to see which ad specifically without having to like just click into it. So yeah, it just makes it a lot easier. All right, make this 101B. And there we go. So we got 2 ads for our confidence angle. And if you have videos, just add those in as well. I say max 4 within each ad set. If you have more to test, just duplicate the ad set, but keep it like 4 within each ad set max. So let's do one more angle. We're just going to duplicate this. All right, so this is going to be our upgrade angle. All right, so upgrade, or we could say upgrade wardrobe. Cool. Or even specifically upgrade gym wardrobe. All right, so everything stays the same here. We also need to change this to 102. And then basically we just go through these, swap out the images. All right, so this one I just kind of upgraded the primary text to upgrade your gym wardrobe with activewear that's designed to make you feel good and perform better. All right, so once again, if I was really like honing in on this, I would be using Claude to just create some better copy. But for the sake of this demo, let's make sure all this is good. All right, so we're gonna change this. This is going to be us versus them. I just put stop suddenly. All right, so boom, got this one. I am going to delete this one, and then I'm gonna duplicate this one right here. I would say comparison, and then we'll just keep stop settling. All right, or we could have upgrade your sets, whatever. All right, so this is pretty much exactly how I like to set up my campaign structure. So then each week I'll be creating new iterations of testing. So I'll just duplicate this ad set, and you could use the same angle if you find an angle that's working very well. You just want to test different concepts, different ads within that, that's totally fine. But if you want to create new angles as well, that's also fine. So you just duplicate the ad set. Please don't add new ads under an ad set that's already running, because you're going to just move it back into the learning phase. So yeah, just duplicate the ad set. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully this was super helpful. If you have any questions, just comment below. So that's the full strategy, different creatives rotating every week so we can keep our meta ads fresh, and ad angles that make your creatives speak to a specific person with a specific message. Our campaign structure is built around one CBO, different assets per angle, and multiple concepts within each asset. So this is exactly how clothing brands running meta ads are able to achieve 100K plus months. And if you want us to build and run this system for you, you can apply to work with my agency. The link should be in the description below. Or Or if you want to learn this framework and implement it yourself, you can also apply for my mentorship program that I partner with Activate Your Vision with. That link will also be in the description below. This is for serious brand owners only, all right? If you just want to get some free value, you can continue to watch my YouTube videos, but if you really want to take your brand to the next level and you are ready to invest, you can click one of the links below. Make sure you like, comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be a lot more consistent on YouTube. Let me know in the comments what videos you want me to create next. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next one.